Today we visit Dave Clark as he hosts Driveway Bonsai for the Cypress Lakes Bonsai Club. And we have our faithful lady watching on. What you won't see today is a giant black pine except for this photograph. But you'll meet Dave Clark. He loves to teach. And here we see him at Heathcote Gardens in his first lecture.
This is a pink trumpet tree. We love them in Central Florida because they bloom for a couple of weeks, usually in late winter, early spring. And there's all the beautiful blooms all over. It lasts about 2 weeks. I have never seen a bonsai tababuia of this size. This is just amazing. The leaf reduction is awesome. The leaf is normally twice, if not 3 times that size on a normal full-size tree. And the trunk has such great movement. There's a deadwood passageway right through the side over here. So it's very interesting trunk, very interesting branches. They got great ramification.
Yeah, so
Welcome to Sunbae.
hey, see
Bonsai, Sunbae friends.
you're trimming up your bougainvillea, huh?
Yeah, well,
you got a lot of them, don't you?
It's everything's in winter mode around here, so the whole garden's in winter mode. And I've been put in places to protect them, give them as much sun as we can get this time of year, the ones that are still growing and awake. So the boogies are kind of in between, but you see all the new growth starting to pop out from the last trimming. But,
Oh, that is sweet looking.
they go through their cycles of having lots of blooms, drop the blooms, get the new leaves, and then here we go again. So I love bougainvilleas for Central Florida. They're always interesting. So most of the ones you see here, these are just cuttings, clippings from neighbors' yards and things like that. So very rarely do I buy them as nursery stock. Most often I'll take them as cuttings. So I like bougainvilleas. I think that's our secret weapon for Central Florida bonsai artists.
So we got an azalea also.
Yes, this one is a Duke de Ron with probably some Duchess of Cypress in there, but it's a Lakeland variety when it's in the Duchess of Cypress form. This is an experiment I've been playing with. It's a Mammy Croton forest, and the Crotons were here when I bought the house 20 years ago in the yard, and then I've since taken the 3 of them out of the ground. The 2 in the back are cuttings from the front 3. But anyhow, I envision someday a real nice forest, has some more growing, and I've got to do some more branch work. But I really like the colors. So in Florida, they say we don't have a lot of colors in our leaves in the fall. So I aim to beat them at their own game with all the beautiful reds and oranges and greens and yellows and the vibrant colors. So I'm going to have me someday a nice fall-looking forest of Mammy Crotons. That's that project. This was another yard waste recovery. Thrown away. It was just a dwarf Yopon holly, Ilex vomitoria, and a couple of years in the pot now, and it's starting to get some nice nabari, and the deadwood is cleaning up nicely. The pads are starting to form nicely. So, like most of my trees, they're a project in the works.
This is a Japanese maple that a guy picked up at Lowe's, I think, in Bartow, and I traded in some wire for it, probably
1927,
maybe 8 years ago, maybe. And I just stuck it in the pot and let it grow.
I'm going to give you
I
some.
probably shouldn't do a whole lot with the branch structure
When I go to repot them,
if we're going to repot
it's
it,
just a nest.
but I just want to make sure I've got,
It's dormant, so you can prune it.
yeah. I mean, I know I need to clean up some areas on the tree.
Well, as Tom said down at Heathcote, the lichen doesn't really hurt the tree.
Yeah, yeah,
So it just depends on your view of it.
yeah. I would probably,
I brush it off.
brush it off at some point.
Well, you could cut this back to no
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you can use that.
and shorten your, because
Just
it's
stick
going
one
to
on
keep,
each
these are going to keep
wall,
growing,
right
so it's going to get out to here.
Yeah.
Because they grow like whips.
Yeah, yeah. What about doing that at the same time? Should I wait?
I think you could do it at the same time.
I like it better.
Okay.
I used to use that exclusive.
So, just
before I
think
found
about
this.
ramification. Where do you want ramification.
Yeah.
Where you need ramification, that's where you cut back to.
Right.
Like here you have, you know, your 1 and 2, 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 etc. So you have places where you don't have 2. So where you want to start it, where do you want your ramification to begin? That's where you cut
Gotcha.
back.
If I was gonna do it, I'd probably cut it.
Put a layer of that at the bottom. Yeah, maybe
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah,
And then,
even maybe a little lower to start
Yeah.
it here, like then you end up like this.
My,
right in the center.
my question to you, O, is how attached to this tree are you? You know, because it's leggy. You know, if I wasn't very attached to it, I would literally cut it in 4 places. Boom, 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 and boom. Take it all the way back.
okay.
If I'm not attached to it. Now, if I'm attached to it, you might want to work it back slowly, like they were talking about. You know, nip the top, wait for it to back bud, keep going down.
Great alternative too.
I'd like to try to make this the dominant branch and this as opposed to a slingshot.
Yeah.
That's what they call a split trunk style tree.
Yeah.
Lose this, right, air layer this, make a separate tree. And I'd go for my taper right on up here. I'd lose that guy, I'd lose that guy, and then I would grow new branches, try to bring them down to about 18, 20 inches. Eventually lose all this up here. I bring it down, really you got a lot of interest down here, and then you got some taper going when you come up here, and you get the movement that goes zigzaggy like this with a little bit of an angle there. And then I
Way
would
too wide at the top.
I'd either air layer it here, air layer it here, and then I would eventually come down to about this height here and grow new branches. Oh. Cleaning up, this is a sea grape, and I bought it as a bonsai at the greenhouse, little flower shop up the street, used to sell bonsai. I bought it 10 years ago, and yeah, I'm doing pretty good with some leaf reduction. These leaves can be dinner plate size. But right now, I'm letting it grow out some in the growing mode. But yeah,
It's got
Florida sea
some nice deadwood on it there.
A neighbor called me about 3 months ago. Was getting a new shed delivered in his backyard and had this big gardenia, camellia rather. This is a big camellia tree, and the tree had to go because the shed was coming. So I dug it out of the ground, and I think it looks like it's holding on. So we'll see what happens in the spring. But
Looks like it was grafted at one time.
yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
That's a mean looking graft.
It is. I call it my Frankenstein camellia. It's not pretty. So here's some more of those green gems. Ficus.
You got enough of them.
Yeah, I'll be giving them away at the club meetings. Well, here's my Chevalier forest, or one of them. You can see it's getting pretty gnarly with the aerial roots. I've had this 20 years or so, or longer.
Wow.
Same with that ginseng. This is a Premna with exposed root, Premna.
Yeah, I'm trying to do one of those. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Here's your Parsons. These are Parsonii.
Nice.
Chinensis juniperus, and then these are the Kishu. Shimpaku, Kishu Shimpaku. These came from Bonsai. Yeah.
The forest here.
Yeah, that's a crepe myrtle forest.
Oh wow, you got some pretty nice selection in there. Yeah.
And that's sort of my for sale bench and in recovery bench and
For sale
giveaway
bench, huh?
Yeah, those Fukians down low. I kind of keep some for visitors that want to come by and get started in the hobby. So those are good starter trees. This one has a little story, and you watch your step if you try to walk around. Just know that there's 2 steps here if you try to come around.
So,
And actually,
tell me about the tree.
yeah, this is a laurel oak, and I pulled it out of the ground in front of my parents' house in 1995. It was just a little startling with an acorn still attached to the roots, and that was back in 1995. So coming up on 30 years. And by all rights, at 30 years old, this laurel oak should be 60 to 80 feet tall. Instead, it's just over 18 inches tall. And you see it's got a nice thick trunk. It's got a lot of corky bark, showing its age. And so now I'm in the branch development phase. All the branches you see, there's no branch older than 3 years old on the branches. So I'm working the branches, starting to work ramification, and that's the phase it's in now. But yeah, this is one of my favorites.
What do we got over here to the right?
Yes, this is a Chinese juniper. It is a San Jose. I got it as nursery stock back in 2004. So coming up on 20 years. And it's been a project in the works since. But it's a San Jose juniper from nursery stock.
Wow. It's nice.
This is a root over statue out of a ficus. And that's about 4 years since it was a cutting that I placed on top of the statue and buried it. And see, the roots are nicely draped down over the statue. Gives it a nice look. This is a Ficus Wyandi, W-I-A-N-D-I, Wyandi, and it is a variety, I believe, of the Ficus benjamina, and it came out of the Netherlands, and they call it the Ficus of the future. It sort of naturally makes its own zigzags, but it's a little hard to train. But this one is also 1995, so it's coming up on 30 years that I've had this.
You give it a little turn for me.
Yeah. We've got a pretty thick trunk now, and I'm working on branch development.
That's sweet. All right, go.
This is a Mingorelia I bought. I think I was a Home Depot, but I've had it about 10 years now, and I've been working hard to get the branches to flare out, which it doesn't naturally want to do. It wants to grow up. But this is a Mingorelia.
Nice. Why don't we swing around there and see that tree that you wanted to go to
This is a
before
snow
that?
bush, otherwise known as a Brennea distica, snow bush. And I got this also, same time I had the laurel oak. 1995, it was just a small root cutting out of my grandparents' front yard. They had a hedge of these, and I had it now almost 30 years.
Wow, you know that twist, he's giving me an idea for that bogey I got that I want to revamp. We can twist them babies
Twist
together.
them up.
Yeah,
Grow
twist
together.
them up.
Twist them up and let them fuse, right?
And this is the Portulacara that
Just
you
picked
got?
it up the other day at Dragon Tree Nursery over in Palm City, near Fort Pierce area. Yep, nice nursery over there if you want pre-bonsai.
$25?
Yeah, I think that was a $25.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, he had an orange tree.
All right.
Orange tree, so I thought I'd get a yellowy orange pot for it, but something different. Yeah, this also comes from 1995, so I had those other two trees and then this one. This was a seed of an orange tree from my parents' backyard over in St. Petersburg, 1995. So I've grown it from seed. It should have very large leaves, but as you see, it's a small leaf tree now, and it's coming up on 30 years of age as well, and you see it's only 18 inches tall.
Wow. And that's a nice looking azalea there too, but
This is a Satsuki, Japanese. So yeah, got nice small leaves. It's a dwarf variety. Got a pretty flower.
have you ever tried any of that Kanuma soil with those?
Yeah, I think I got Kanuma on the bottom layer, drainage layer. It's all Kanuma.
Yeah, I think I saw Madame Bonsai actually use that as for a bottom layer.
This guy's gotten kind of interesting. 1998, I got this as a another Home Depot or Walmarty kind of tree, but it's got a nice shape to it. It's getting some fun aerial roots.
Now, what variety is this?
Yeah, as far as I know, this is tiger bark.
Oh,
But
finally a tiger bark.
I think, yeah. I
But
can say one
not
thing's for sure. It's a ficus.
It's a ficus.
But folks can argue about the variety, but I think that's a tiger bark. That's a gardenia, again, a yard waste recovery from a year or two ago. These are mulberries, and you can see the mulberries on there, almost ready to eat. They'll turn black, and when they turn black, it's time to eat them. So both of these trees will.
Custer you got there. Good thing he's not alive. You know, my neighbor's rooster actually attacked him the other day.
I believe it. They can be mean.
Yeah, he told me to watch my. Oh, look at all these. Those
Yep.
tiger barks?
No, these are all green
Island?
gems.
Green gems?
Yeah, my neighbor had them in his front yard, and after a couple of years in the ground, didn't like them and was having his landscape people rip them out. So he gave me 2 big garbage bags filled with them. There were 75 trees in there. I repotted them real quick, and that's been about 4 months ago, and I'd say all but maybe 2 or 3 of them have survived it.
So this is your biggest.
That's my wheelbarrow boogie. A lot of the bougainvillea you see around were cuttings off of this when it was in the ground, and my neighbor up the road 4 years ago, it was blocking her view of exiting the driveway, so she had the landscape people cut all the limbs off, and then I came and excavated the stump, and I keep it in this wheelbarrow for easy movement. But all the branches you see have been grown since in the last 4 years, so it really was just the stump when I got it.
This is the one you're looking for that big pot for, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Or is it that?
That both of them. I have one for the crepe myrtle already. This guy's next. This is my trident maple forest, been defoliated and is having its winter rest.
This is what we didn't show at Dave's, his mammays. We also didn't show his many desert roses. We did show his tiger bark. I kept thinking everything was the tiger bark. But here's 2 examples from Heathcote Gardens. They have some beautiful tiger barks down there. Several other kinds of ficuses. But also they had this beautiful elephant bush or portulacara, and Dave had that $25 one he just purchased. All right, we have Dave Clark here with the Sunbay Bonsai. Dave, why don't you tell us about it?
Oh, well, Sunbay Bonsai is this informal group that meets here in Lakeland, and we talk bonsai. Sunbae being a Korean term that gives respect to folks that have more experience at something or have something to add to the talk. So we greet each other with Sunbae, and we help each other in the bonsai process. So come join us at Sunbay Bonsai if you're in Lakeland. Today we're going to do a little bit of lime sulfur on this piece of deadwood, piece of juniper or cedar, and we're going to add some lime sulfur to it to help protect the wood and bleach it out a little bit. So Terry has got the brush in hand, and we've got the lime sulfur. We've already soaked the wood a little bit so it'll absorb the lime sulfur nicely. It will help protect the wood. It'll absorb into the fibers, and when we sit it out in the sun, it'll bleach it out a little bit, give us that nice deadwood look. Smells like rotten eggs, Terry.
I'm not breathing.
You sure it's the lime sulfur causing this?
I hope so.
I do too. So you can do this on shari, on the trunks of live trees. You can do it on gin, which would be a deadened branch on a tree, or you can use it on just deadwood. You have plans for this piece of wood yet? Are you going to use it as a tanuki, a phoenix graft, or something like that, or just an accent piece in your work?
I have no idea. I'm hoping that I can get one of those shimpaku cuttings to actually root, and if that's the case, that I might just start from seed with something and go from there with that.
Here's the first photo as it's drying. Coming up on the second photo, turned it over, stood it up on its end. Waiting now for the smell to go away. Put it in a gallon Ziploc bag to drive in the car with. Here I finally have it at home, and I'll get a picture tomorrow as it fully dries. What we have here is the die-hard members of the Cypress Lake Bonsai. Of course, Dave's got to stay here. This is his home.
Sign the non-disclosure forthcoming through our Actors Guild.
That's right. The Bonsai, Lakeland
Bonsai Actors Guild. We're unionized.
Finally, I just let it do what it wanted to do. So it's grown back. Yeah, it's grown back.
No, the deadwood, that was always there.
No, that was actually a branch, and I see it broke right here.
You made that?
And so so I just I bent it right when it cracked. I bent it when it cracked,
Very
and then
nice.
so it's still flexible. And I want to glue this little piece on because it fell off.
You got a little Frank. Give a little
That tree
credit.
is metamorphosed into so many different things.
Yeah.
So but
got
the
an
wire was
identity
left on for a long
crisis.
time.
Yeah. It was.
He gave it to you like that, right? You didn't
No,
do that.
it was just a branch.
She's still watching, so it's time to bring the film to an end. Stay tuned for updates from Bonsai by the Samurai. Thank you for watching.